win. I am down and willing, so I will find a way. It took a minute, now it didn't happen right away. When it get hot in the kitchen, you decide to stay. That's how it winners made. Stick a fork in the hater on my dinner plate. I walk into the fire like it's just a bit of flame. I switch my style up, put the money pile up. I'ma get rich with life.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Clydesdale Media Podcast, where we're featuring the athletes of the 2024 CrossFit Games Semifinals. And I'm so pumped to have with me CrossFit OG, Jamie Hagiya.
Hello. On, hi, how are you? Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. I'm super excited to have you on. I've been a fan for a very long time, and I have to start this off with a little story. You were on the broadcast for the Granite Games a couple years ago.
Yes.
I was on the field getting post interviews just like you, but I never picked the same people you do. But,
okay.
But I do that. And there was a point where you were demoing what the rope climb was.
Oh.
And you literally dropped your mic and pulled the biggest baller move I've ever seen and did the legless right there in street clothes.
Yeah, they my broadcast team, the producers and everybody was like, Jamie, why don't you get up there and show them? You can do it, and like that's part of like the cool part of being a broadcast, and you're a former athlete, you understand the movements, you know how to do things. And I was like, yeah, I could do that. And so then I kind of just dropped it down, went to the top, touched it, and I was like, oh, that was fine. That was so fine. And yeah, the crowd was kind of like, whoa, like, is she broadcast? What, is someone on there that shouldn't be on the field? Or like, but yeah, it was a super fun time.
Well, and it went right up to the start of the event. And I think like people were afraid, is she going to be able to pull this off in the time before the start? And there was a lot of this tension, but true OG killed it.
Oh, thank you.
So, I again super excited to have you on, and another reason is I'm a big time sports fan, right? So, women's basketball has made a huge surge in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
When I Google you, you don't come up Jamie Hagiya CrossFit. You come up Jamie Hagiya USC basketball player.
Yeah, that was my background before I started playing at the age of 4. So I've grown up my whole entire life, and that was my like first love. It was my dream to play in college one day, but everyone told me I was too short. I wasn't good enough, and I never played Division I. And I love being an underdog. And I was like, okay, great. Like, I'm going to show you guys. And so I ended up getting a 1 full ride to the University of Southern California. It was one of the most life-changing things that has ever happened to me. And to this day, like, yeah, it's like, I can't believe I still talk to my teammates and with the rise of women's basketball, it's just absolutely incredible, especially at USC at this time. Juju Watkins, I'm sure you've seen her play. But just incredible for the game in general. And and that was my first love. So always will be a fan.
Does it surprise you that that's still like the label that Google has on you?
Yeah, I mean, it was a million years ago. Like, I'm like, this is like 03 to 07 I was there. So that was so long ago. And, but yeah, I mean, I'm surprised I'm even on the internet. I don't know why, but yeah, for any reason, I guess that's great. I love basketball. I'm always like an advocate for women in sports and just the game in general. So happy to be on there.
So this year, like, I admittedly watched way more of the women's tournament than I did the men's tournament.
Absolutely.
It was way more exciting.
Yeah.
When you finished basketball to play professionally, you had to go overseas.
I did. My best friend and my teammate, Shay Murphy, was an All-American. She was drafted to in the WNBA, but before that, she played, and then in the fall, you go play overseas. And so one of her agents got her a deal in in Greece, and so then he set up 3 of our teammates to go play in Greece, and we had a fantastic time over there.
Was it just like continuing college overseas, like studying abroad almost?
Kind of, yeah. It's like, it's so funny. I think you'll understand, any sports person will understand, like basketball, the craziest thing, because, Spanish is a little bit easier to pick up. I'm from Southern California, LA. So, we hear it a little bit more. Greek, Never. Like, it is so difficult to read, to speak. And so, we're out there on the floor, and basketball is a universal language. I guess kind of like CrossFit is a universal language. A snatch is a snatch, like a crossover or a jump shot. And so, yeah, it was like a really great experience. The food, the people, just being able to go over there to play the game I love so much and extend my life as an athlete and to get paid for it. I was like, this is a dream. So yeah, it was definitely a good time.
So with the resurgence or the surgence of women's basketball, the WNBA has so few teams that it's still like we're not to the point where the great athletes are getting rewarded and able to play here in the States. How long do you think it'll take for expansion to grab hold and move that needle forward a little bit more?
I think the great thing is it's happening right now. There's like teams that are signing up for the 2025 season, or they're getting it together, so, and deservedly so. There are so many talented women that are getting cut and not being able to play, that have to go play overseas, or that should be on a roster, but because there's only 12 spots. And there's so many veterans that are still playing. Diana Taurasi, one of the best of all time, is still, what I mean? It's so cool to see her playing. But these are all Olympians, world champions, like NCAA champions, like that's the only people that make a roster. So these are all all-star teams every single game you go to.
Jameen Alderson, God, my favorite CrossFitter ever.
Oh, thank you.
And fellow D1 baller.
Yes. We love it for the CrossFit ballers.
So my last basketball question is, Juju is huge right now. NIL, I think NIL is actually saving women's basketball.
Oh, hands down. I mean, it's like finally there is a time. And okay, look, I went to the same year I went in was the same year Reggie Bush. We were freshmen at the same time. And so, the whole thing came in and whatever happened, like a house or whatever he got. But I was like, everyone's doing this across the country. They give us a stipend to live in LA, which barely covers our rent. How do you expect all these kids to live, groceries, to get around, gas, everything. And so I'm happy that, now they can focus on and have support so that they don't have to worry about that. They can just go out and play the game they love and make the money that they deserve.
Yeah. So with USC having Juju and you being an alumni, do you get to go to games much?
Oh yeah. A lot of our teammates went to them, and Lindsay Gottlieb is the head coach now, and she is amazing. She's such an advocate for all the alumni to come back. We honored the 83-84 national championship team with Cheryl Miller. And so all of them came back, and yeah, we're all getting season tickets, and they invite us to all these House of Victory, like NIL events, just to support the team. And they're really great about bringing alumni. Like USC is huge on networking and alumni. So it's really, been such a great experience to be still connected with them.
One of all colleges, like USC seems to embrace legacy. So much, and invite all the former players back. Even for football, you see like all the players on the sidelines supporting the team all the time. Do you feel that as a female basketball player as well?
Yeah, I mean, they had a night where they honored all of us. They brought us out at halftime, and they're really realizing like this is a big deal to recognize the people that came before us. Women's basketball is on fire right now, like you mentioned, but they're like, it's all of us who played in front of like 400 people instead of 10,000 people. You know what I mean? It's amazing to see Galen filled up with and sold out and lines out the door 3 hours before. But we had to play in the sports arena, which was empty, and they had to cover half of the rafters so it didn't look so empty. And you know what I mean? And it's just like, and that doesn't matter. That's, I'm happy to play even the smallest little part to help move the needle along, because it really is the future of all these women that are taking it to the next level.
Well, now I'm going to move on to your CrossFit life, but I had to hit that because who better to understand that than you?
Love it.
So I'm going to share a post from your IG. This was made a couple weeks ago, I think now. And it was you in your car, kind of just blown away in the moment. And then we'll talk about this. Okay. Unmute you.
Mind is like blown. People are texting me, and my coach called me and was like, you're in the top, you made the individual North America West individual semifinals. You're in the top 40. I finished 39th. And I'm like, that can't be right. Like, that's not right. That's not right. Like, I'm not, like, it's not even a thought in my mind that I would even do that, because I'm trying to make the age group 35 to 39, top 200 to go to semifinals. And yeah, anyways, I don't even know what to think. Like if I do make the individual semifinals, like what? It's here in Carson. The last time I was there was 2016. The last year I was at the CrossFit Games there. And I don't know. It's right down the street from my house. Like it's in my backyard. Do I go and try to compete with these like 21-year-olds? It's crazy.
Wow. So there's a lot in that.
Yes, there is.
So you going into this season, you were really focused on Masters.
Okay, I'm going to tell you the full story. I had zero plans of competing, honestly. My last thing I ever did in person was 2018 at the CrossFit Games with my team, and I retired, and I was like, fantastic. That was so great. I went one-time individual, one-time team. I'm so good. I got to do a little bit of broadcast with them, and I was really good. And my old coach, Matt Bryant, one of my old coaches from Grid League, has his own Golden Line training team, and so they came to my gym. He was like, "Hey, Jamie, can we use your gym for an Affliate camp?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And he's like, "Jump in, you're welcome to join us." And I was like, "Okay, great." Jumped into their camp, and then from there, he was like, if you want to make a run for Masters this year, like I'll help you, I'll coach you. And I was like, really? And just from there, like little conversations just started going, and we started training in November, and from that, somehow all this stuff happened.
Well, whatever happened seems to work.
He's amazing.
Corey Leonard says, more like those 20-year-olds plan on competing with her.
Very nice of you. That's very sweet. But
so you make, so you surprisingly make the top 40.
Yeah.
And at this moment, the penalties haven't even come down. Like you're just kind of wait, because you even say at the end, like video review still has to happen.
Right. And I know the deal, you know what I mean? Like I know we submit everything, you have to wait, you have to see what penalties come out. And unfortunately there was a lot this year. But I had no intentions of like, I was just trying to make it I'm taking it one thing at a time. In the open, I don't know if I'm allowed to cuss. I got my butt kicked in the open, and it was a big wake up call for me to like, okay, cool. If we're going to do this, let's do it. Let's add an extra cardio session. Let's take this very seriously. Quarterfinals, I felt good. And then, and then from there, they were like, you made semis. I was like, no, like what? So yeah, I really had no intentions and that wasn't even on my radar at all.
So before we get to elite semis, then as this is going on, age group semis pop up, and you have to do those now.
Yeah. So literally last weekend, I finished the age group semifinals to qualify for, unofficially, they take the top 40. I'm in 21st or 2nd or something like that. So unofficially, I've made the CrossFit Games for the age group. But yeah, that kind of the timing of it isn't great. It was literally last weekend. I kind of had a meltdown this week because I literally got off of that, took a couple days off, and a week, like on Thursday, I was like, I'm competing in person in 1 week, and I haven't tried, I haven't tested, I haven't done any of these workouts that I'm going to do. And, my body's beat up, and, so it's been a lot, but you know what? I think it's just take it one thing at a time and just try to focus on the task at hand. And that's kind of what we're going with. That's all. That's my only option.
It's funny because last year I talked to Chelsea Nicholas.
Oh, yes.
Who was in the same situation, right? Like she qualified for both, did both.
Yeah.
And it felt like she never had a week off.
Yeah. And we are older, right? We're like, I'm 39. Like I remember literally watching China last year, and I was like, oh man, Olivia Cursor was like 18 and China was like 38 or so. There was almost like a 20-year age gap, between the two of them. And to think like to beat your body up and do an extra set of qualifiers in the middle that has nothing to do with what you're going to see in person, like that's a lot on our bodies, you know what I mean? But yeah, you kind of just adapt and go with it. And, the plan right now is just, when I freaked out, I talked to my coach and he's like, Jamie, your experience, your athleticism, like you're going to have to just go in and trust that, because we're a week out. Like, everybody's banged up at this point. I have a little like nagging injuries here and there. And I was like, I can't risk like beating myself up more and getting injured and going into next week. He's like, I'd rather send you healthy and just go for it. So that's what we're doing.
So this is going to be a weird question because you're a competitor. You've been an athlete your whole life, right?
Right.
You go into age group semis. Is there any part of you that's like, can I back off a little and still make it and save my body for the next phase? Or do you have to say like, this is the part I'm on and this is where my attention has to be?
Yeah, I mean, we really had to. Like, there was 4 workouts, and like I had to repeat 2 out of the 4. And you just these women are so good, even in your age group. These are the women that have been competing for so long, and they're so talented and so fit. You really don't, you can't mail it in at all. So, I definitely like pushed and yeah, try to do the best that I could there, and then we'll see what happens next weekend.
So it's got to be weird for you because I looked at your Instagram for your affiliate.
Mhm.
You're 9 miles from
Yeah.
the tennis stadium.
Oh, yes. And that was really the only reason why I really was like, gave it like real thought. Cause I was like, it's in my backyard. Like, and that's cool. The last time I was there was 2016 at the CrossFit Games. Like the very last year, it was here in Carson, was my first year making it. And so I was like, it is down the street. I get to sleep in my own bed. I get to eat all my own food. I have, you know what I mean? Have my people in my corner. My gym is down the street. So that played a huge factor into all of it.
How large of a contingent will you have there?
Honestly, like, as far as fans, like,
Yeah.
oh, everyone is so supportive. Like, one of the guys at my gym was literally, he was like, Jamie, I just have to thank you for going. I joined your gym in the end of 2018. So I missed all of like Carson and all your years of competing. And like, we were planning on going anyways, but now, that you'll be out there, like we're so excited. And so I know like that means so much to me to have like my community and my people. And like, again, like, we could talk all day about like the pressure of all these things and going back and what my goal is and what all my thoughts are. But at the end of the day, like first or last, or what I mean, in any event, like my people, my team, like they love me and support me and just will be happy that I'm out there.
So I can relate in a way because I go to Christy Ermo O'Connell's gym.
Oh, love her too. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
So
amazing.
I live here in Columbus. The first
Okay.
year of Rogue was here in Columbus. She went just for the fact so people could see her compete, right?
Totally. She's a
And
huge fan
the
favorite. Yeah.
contingent there that the gym brought was so massive and so special. I can't even imagine what it's going to be like for you at semifinals.
Yeah, I love you're presented by Thicc Boy. I have a shirt called Thicc and Tired. That's my semifinal shirt this year.
My notes.
Yeah, and so I think it's just like Del Mar back in the day. Everybody like had so much fun and like just rallying together and like, oh cool, like let's all go and support Jamie and like get behind her. And yeah, I didn't realize how big that or how much that means to other people, I guess. And so yeah, it really blows me away, all the support from everybody like around the world, really.
So with every like really cool thing, there's a flip
Yeah.
side, right? You're an affiliate owner 9
Yes.
miles from the semifinal.
Yes.
Probably could be the busiest weekend you have as an affiliate owner.
Yes, totally. And again, it's so funny. I talked to Adam Klink, he's from Rad Global, and he was like, hey, before any of this stuff came out, he's like, Jamie, we're wondering if we can host a, just like a workout at your gym on Saturday. I'm like, yeah, sure. Like, I'll be there. I can help run it. And then he's like, oh, you'll be out there. I was like, yeah, I will now. Like, so my sister will have to help. She's a coner with me. And so, and some of our other coaches will be here, but yeah, definitely like drop-ins and running classes and you know what I mean? Just, and then, so it's a lot going on this week will be very busy.
And
In a good way.
it's great that you have all that support and you have a partner in your sister that runs
Yes.
the gym with you.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Everybody like, we're so like a good balance for each other because she does all like the business side and finance. She comes from a finance background and I'm like, oh yay. And I love the people and coaching and, so we're a good balance for each other. And it's been 11 years this year. So yeah, this is our gym. We got the basketball hoop over there. That was very important for me to have a really nice one.
Yeah. So you mentioned your shirt. I'm going to pull it up. It speaks to me. I'm so bummed I didn't see this earlier.
Oh, we'll have to get you
I
one.
would have ordered one because I love the saying on the back. I just love it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like so on par with me. Like I obviously love to work out. I love to like, be in the grind of things, but I also like there's such a balance and like having fun and enjoying it is like so important to me, and like laughter and like, making fun of myself. Like I'm a thick girl. I am 39 years old. I'm a tired girl. Like, and it all, and it's just like a fun, everyone was like, oh, that's so you, Jamie. And I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, totally. Let's go with that. So
Yeah. So love it so much. So Corey Leonard says Jamie is a whole vibe, digging her outlook.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. If we can real quick, just speak on perspective, it's weird. I've always gone into semis or these regionals, with the mindset of making it. Like that has always been the only focus of mine, is to make the CrossFit Games. You know what I mean? And so to be surprised to be going at all. And then just in this situation, I'm like, you know what? And like, I can't put that pressure on myself. Like one, I'm not really at that level yet right now, and so I have to go with like where I'm at and what I have and just make the most of it. I think the most important thing for me is like to walk away knowing I gave it my best on every single event and enjoy it, like really be present for like it being in Carson at the tennis stadium.
Yeah. And that was actually my next question. It's funny. You're in media now. So like I don't even have to lead you. You just go there.
You got it.
And so it is just going to be a soak in moment, right? Like, are you going to have to tell yourself, like, as you're out on the floor, like, just be present and just enjoy this?
And that's where it's so hard, this like balance of like being so hard on myself and expectations and not wanting to let people down and being a competitor. Like, no, that's not good enough. To lose, no, that's not great. You know what I mean? But then it's like, was I ready for that's why I literally had a breakdown. I was like, I feel so unprepared, and it's just like, take a step back. Like it's CrossFit. It should be fun, and I get it. Like the pressure and like of all these, young guys and girls that have it of making the CrossFit Games. And so, yeah, I think for me, it's going to be like, enjoy this, like whatever happens. Like if I walk off, this out of that stadium, knowing I gave it the best effort I had for that day, great. That's all I can ask of myself, So that's kind of my mindset going into things. And I told my coach, I was like, maybe we don't even look at the leaderboard. Maybe I just go out there and do the best I can, take it event by event. And like, that's what it is,
So my next question is for Jamie, the media member.
Yeah.
Right. Over the last few years, there have been people who have de-emphasized what the CrossFit season is to them. Like, i.e. Ariel Lowen, just want to get a sign for my garage. Right. And then now she's the third fittest woman in the world. Is there something to like taking all that pressure off of your shoulders that leads to better performance?
I will let you know after next weekend. No, I do. I do agree. I think when you feel the stress and the pressure, like some people thrive in it and some people crumble from it, and I mean, the best of the best, like they love it. They thrive off of it, and for me, it's just been such a long time. I've been out of the game. I had a 6-year retirement, and I'm like, that's why part of this journey was just like, I want to see what I'm still made of, like what I still have left in me. And like some of the proudest moments of just in training is just like, it's hard. It sucks. It's hard. And just the mental of like, you can do this. And I will be saying that over and over and over again all next weekend when I'm in it and that red line right at that capacity. But yeah, I do feel like taking the pressure off. That's what's so weird. I have no pressure on me. Like if I do better than last place, like, woo, like everyone will be so excited, but I do have this, because I've been there before, like this like pressure on myself, which I need to like let go of. And that's my main goal. Like, like I want to compete with complete freedom would be amazing.
Yeah. I think what was interesting last year is China makes it, right? We had Jen Ryan, Chelsea, China, like a lot of athletes from the Masters division made it to semis. And like China was top 20.
She's incredible. It really.
And I think some of that came, like there was no pressure on her this year.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. When you take it, I think that does, like when you take it all off of yourself, like you get to go out there and you earned it. Like you've earned all these years that you've like, that's why everyone's like, trust the process, trust like your body, trust like the competitor in you, and that's what'll be interesting this time around. I've always tested out the workouts, before going and to be a week out, not, there's still some that I haven't even done because my body can't handle it. Alethea Boone's another great example. She was saying this kind of the same thing about my body can't handle this. And I only do it in competition. And I'm like, same girl, same. So like definitely taking the pressure off and like knowing yourself and your body as we age up and get a little older, like, yeah, maybe there's some like benefits to doing that and having a little bit more of a relaxed attitude going in.
Jeffrey Birchfield, thick and tired. I feel that today. And he's a school teacher that is retiring, and he said, in another week and a half, I'll be thick and retired.
Yay. Oh, congratulations. That's a huge, huge, huge accomplishment all those years. Thank you for doing that.
Wad Zombie, if you don't know who he is, the meme guy on
Yes.
we're rooting for you.
Oh,
And
thank you.
Jamie is a local hero.
Oh my gosh. You guys are too kind. I'm like, don't think that of myself at all, but I appreciate
Jay
it.
Birch, Jamie's first Games appearance was 2016 in Carson.
It was.
So the workouts are out. You mentioned 2016. One of these events actually was an event. It's almost like you went back in time.
Crazy.
Snatch ladder, you get to do it again.
I do.
Excited for another opportunity?
Yeah, I vividly remember this one. Alessandra Pacelli and I were at the very final barbell at the same time. I missed a lift. I think she missed one, but she ended up like squeaking ahead of me because I went too soon. So it's like, I did miss one at the end. Obviously, like this year, that was 8 years ago, and my time and gosh, like I don't know if I can get anywhere close to that, but I'm like finishing would be great. Staying, like, you really have to focus for every single rep because it gets very breathy, even though I love a heavy barbell. So yeah, I'm excited to give it another shot at it.
Did you watch Europe at all?
I did. Yeah. Elisa Foliano, she crushed it. Amazing.
Smaller athlete. And it was about being smooth.
Totally. Like so composed and really making every single rep count. And like, in weightlifting, positioning is everything, and timing and everything, having it all dialed in and perfect, like perfectly, while your heart rate is up and while you're very tired. So it's super, super impressive for her to do that.
Because I do the Heat One app. I don't know if you've heard of that, but
yeah.
Like she was not, I'm every time I talk to her, she talks how much she loves Olympic lifting. And I didn't want to pick with my heart. So I went with like the traditional strong girls. Right. And I was wrong.
Yeah. Super cool. I mean, I think that's what everyone was thinking, like, oh, cool. This is like a big strong girl, thing. But yeah, great technique and great like speed and fitness, like then put it all together and end up winning.
Yeah. So you haven't been able to test, but you have got to watch what Europe did with all of these events. You've watched the sport as a media person. And so can you take what they did, analyze it, and fit it to your game?
That's so funny. I was totally doing that. I was like, even little things you're picking up from the media and the broadcast and like the analysts that they have, like little tips of here, like from one heat to the next. And what are some of these like advantages or things that are going to help the athletes and things you have to think about. So totally. But yeah, but again, at the end of the day, it's like 3, 2, 1, go. Like you kind of have to like just shut it off and go with, your gut instinct of how it feels. Everyone has a plan.
Yeah, everyone has a plan.
Until you get punched in the face.
Way too many times in my life have I had a plan and been punched in the face about 2 reps in.
Yep. I think we've all been there. I think that's why we all feel the same feeling around the world.
Wad Zombie wants to know, did you receive any requests to do commentary prior to qualifying?
Not this year. Like this year, it was like there's so few of them, and so actually, it ended up working out this year that this year that I didn't get asked to do semifinals this year. Otherwise, it would have been a tough decision. But of course, like my team and all the guys that like producers and everyone who runs it was like, Jamie, we are so excited. They're like, we get to see you on the field anyways, So maybe it was all like in the works, or I don't know, but excited to be out there either way.
So the media thing, did it just come naturally? Is it something you've always wanted to do? How did that come to be?
I was a comm major at USC, never used it until CrossFit. I tore my Achilles in 2014, and do you know Rothy? Mike Roth? He runs like a lot of the.
I've heard the name.
Okay, yeah, he's like the head guy, and he runs it. And he was like, "Hey, if you're ever interested in doing this, like, I think you'd be really great or give it a shot. And so kind of like over the years, like little things turned into like, you know, a sideline reporter or like a field reporter. It turned into this and that. And I was an analyst last year for the CrossFit Games teams division. And so, yeah, just different opportunities of trying different things in the media field. And yeah, loved it. It's really a fun gig. This is why you're in it, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, my story, like I wanted to be a sports broadcaster since the age of 12, right?
Yeah.
I gave up on that dream for no reason other than I didn't think it was safe. And then at the age of 49, I said, why am I doing this? Like anybody can start a podcast. Let's just see where this goes.
That's amazing.
And now I'm doing the thing I love I'm 54 now and I love this. Like
you don't look like it at all. And that's amazing.
I
think that's such a cool story.
I love.
Exactly. Like you love it, you know, you're passionate about it. And like, you know, and so your advice you would have gave your younger self, what would you have?
Ignore everybody around you and do what you love.
Yeah.
And I tell so my daughter she was a photography major and people tried to talk her out of it. And I'm like, if that's what you love, do it.
Do it.
And she got a job a month after graduating with the United Steelworkers doing their social media.
That's amazing.
Like,
there's so much. Yeah. There's a place for everybody. And that's what I really believe, you know, I'm like, whatever your goals and dreams are, put it out there in the world. Like people want to help you out, you know, but like keep on going. Like you literally can achieve anything you set your mind to. Like, and you're a perfect example of that.
And if it's what you love, you're going to put way more into it than if it's just something to pay the bills.
Right. The reward's going to be so much more.
Right. So
that's so cool.
So you've done the sideline reporter thing. Do you have aspirations to maybe do some color commentary, play by play, like get into it a little more, or is the gym ownership, does it take up a lot of your time?
I would love, like, I'm very open to things. You know, I always said like when I tried out for the WNBA and when I didn't make the team, that's when one door shut, I knew another one would open, and that door was CrossFit. And so I'm always just open to any and all opportunities that come my way because you never know, right? And so I would definitely be open to more media. Like I did love like being an analyst and kind of like, you know, explaining that side of things. So I know what it's like to be out there and just like some of their feelings and just, you know, what they're going through. And that was really fun. Sideline is fun. You get to talk to all the athletes. But yeah, I feel like any capacity of media is always a great way to still, I think that filled my cup of being away from competition, but still in it with everybody there. So
the first time I ever saw you was Wadapalooza.
Oh yeah.
And you're just so easy to listen to. You have such a great voice and you're truly my favorite sideline person.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. And you know, what's funny is like, you know, they say like getting thrown into the fire. Cause I was like, I had no idea. Like, I think someone got sick or had COVID or something. And they're like, Jamie, can you fill in? I was like, yeah, sure. You know, and then they just, great teams and great production and great everybody, producers, edit everybody. And so they make you look really good, you know? But yeah, it's definitely like just being like adaptable. I think coming from sports, like in a team, it's like, you do whatever we need you to do, you do that, you know? And so, yeah, it was really, really such a fun experience, like being out there and you learn tricks of the trade while you're out there. Like, oh, cool. Like listening to the broadcast. Cool. That's what you're, you know what I mean? And like little things like that.
So back to what you said before, when you were sideline reporting, it was listening to the broadcast, getting the tips. What do you ask for? The other thing, like when I'm there and I'm looking at athletes, like what is the story on the floor? Like focusing on what is the story.
Totally.
When you watch it now as an athlete, the same things run through your head?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that's what gets people invested is these people, their stories, like what they came from, or, you know what I mean? Like different things like that, trials and tribulations they've been through to get there, you know? Or like, you know, like it's a lot, the pressure of like, can these women or men like keep on making it year after year, you know, and you have fan favorites. And so, yeah, I think it definitely is like following, and you probably know this, like whatever story you had in mind, things might pop up over the weekend. They'll always present themselves, you know, and like always like, oh, this just happened or that. And so it's always just like being like adaptable to that.
To me, that's when it becomes cool.
Oh,
like going into the heat going, okay, I'm looking at this for this story. And then it flips on its head and you're like, that is so freaking cool.
Cool. Yeah.
Right. And then, but you have that nugget that then you can talk to the person Like, why did this happen?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's very interesting, like getting their perspective, like fresh when they're off the field. You know what I mean? Like, and their emotions are raw and they're, it's just such a cool, I think that's what touches everybody is like the emotions and the vulnerability and the realness.
Yeah. Like you take the final event in Europe today and the dumbbells on the men's side were so heavy, so many drops right at the line. Like,
yeah,
the stories kept flipping on its head like every 5 seconds.
Right. And you have to be in tune and like know everybody that's like, and be watching everything that's going on. Like, especially if you're on the sideline,
who's out, who jumped back in, who then fell out. Yeah.
Yes. And you're the eyes on the field when like from production, like they see one thing on the camera, you see live things going on, like cut to this lane, So
yeah,
things like that.
Well, I want to finish up with a little bit of age group because we love our masters on this channel, and we're going to be in Birmingham.
Yay.
So is it your goal if once this weekend's over, and either way, if you make the games or you don't make the games, is your plan to be in Birmingham?
I again like all this stuff. I'm like literally taking it one thing at a time. I think. Doing the qualifier like set me up to a position to be able to say like, oh, cool, I do have the option to go or not. I think I will definitely try to get through next weekend and then just see where we're at. And if I feel good and want to do it and like, push, like, yeah, I will definitely be there. But I'm an advocate. I think it's so amazing. All the masters athletes are like my favorite. Of course, the best of the best are so impressive. But, we have a guy here who's 74 years old. He, has battled cancer and he's here doing like quarterfinals and like amazing, amazing things. Like, and that's so cool, like talk about stories. So
the masters divisions are littered with amazing stories.
Yeah, totally. Valvobral. Sorry. I just saw her too. She's amazing.
Yeah. And not that I'm putting this on you, but the more bigger named athletes that go to these things, the more eyes they get. And then the more we can grow that element of the sport. And so it's always my hope that some of the bigger named athletes go.
Yeah, my coach said the same thing. Matt was like, you would be such a, like, the very beginning of the season, he was like, you are just such a encouraging, like positive person that would be so great to be out there advocating for like the masters athletes, and so, yeah, definitely. If my body feels good and I like, like the mental part of it too, like, and I more than likely will, but
yeah. Yeah. But I understand, like if you make the games, like that has to be priority number one. And I'm not putting that on you either. You're there to have fun. These are all just hypotheticals that I have no right to throw on you, but
no, you're good. I love it. I love it.
But you have to think about, there's a lot of what ifs in your life right now.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this has been awesome. We have definitely got to stay in touch.
Yes.
But I will let you go for today. Good luck this weekend. We'll be rooting for you.
Thank you guys so much.
And can't wait to see you out there on the tennis stadium floor one more time.
Oh, man. Okay. Thick and tired. Let's go, baby. Thank you so much.
Thank you to everybody in the chat for being here. You guys were awesome. Thank you to Jamie for taking some time out with us. And we'll see everybody next time on the Clydesdale Media Podcast. Bye, guys.